Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 11 of Everything You Love. I'm Rob Arnold. So glad you're here. Appreciate you watching, and I'm excited for you to be with me here as I kick off season 2 of Everything You Love. Just for organization's sake, I've decided to group the seasons into 10 episode blocks, and so with episode 11, we start a fresh season here. This episode is going to be just answering some cool questions that I'm looking forward to. So I hope you'll stick around, and we're going to do just that. All right, so got a lot of cool questions here today, but first I just wanted to talk about this Machinehead show I went to the other night, which is totally awesome, here at the Cleveland Agora, part of their Burn My Eyes 25th anniversary tour. And anybody that knows any of the history about myself and my band Chimera, or has seen some of the prior episodes of Everything You Love, know that Chimera has quite a history with Machinehead. Just done a lot of touring with them over the years, and just great friends. So it was really good to see those guys again. So happy for Rob Flynn, the singer, who's just been killing it for all these years. The band sounded great, and I say bands because he's part of this 25th anniversary tour. He's doing just a lot of Machinehead songs from their catalog first, and then they close out the night playing their Burn My Eyes record, their first record, in its entirety, celebrating the 25 years that it's been around. So that's personally my favorite record, and I shot some video of the song Davidian, the opening track on the album, my favorite song, first song I ever heard by Machinehead, so I'll link that up here. You can check that out. Cool video of Machinehead crushing it there. Yeah, like I said, the bands were awesome. It was really cool to see that original lineup on Burn My Eyes with Chris Contos and Logan Mader, and on bass it wasn't Adam Deuce, the original guy, but Jared, who totally killed it. Great sound, great energy, super nice guy. So he was awesome, and he was also part of the lineup that played the first group of songs with Vogue from Decapitated on guitar. Got to hang with him for a little bit. He was super cool, incredible player, probably my favorite modern player. Just totally killing it. And they had a dude named Matt on drums. I'm not familiar with what he was from or whatever, but he totally held it down. So both bands just sounded great. The lights, the production, the crew was awesome. It was just a really, really cool night, and happy to have been there for it, and thank Machinehead for all their hospitality. So yeah, if you get the opportunity, check that tour out. Really cool stuff. So let's get into the questions here. First at bat is a fellow that goes by the name of What Lurks Beneath, one of my patrons. Thank you so much, dude. Anyways, he says, I've been dying to know, as a signed artist, how on earth do you do your taxes? Are you an employee, owner of your band's LLC? Are you an individual who's contracted? Does management label do them for you? I've always wondered this. Love talking music business and how it works. Well, things have changed for me and for the band over the years, and certainly every band has different methods for doing this or whatever, but back in the day when Chimera was active and there was a lot more like money and activity going on, money coming in and out of the band, sales, touring, merchandise, payroll, all our crew, buses, just all that kind of stuff. There was so much going on with that. It was far too much for any of us to be able to handle the taxes for all that just personally. So we also had a business manager, someone else to take a piece of the pie there. But one thing they did was the accounting for us. And so I would just kind of round our basic income and expenses throughout the year. I would keep track of that, just kind of round figures and send that to them. And they would go ahead and handle it for Chimera Inc. at the time, which was an S Corp. And basically they just handled everything, which probably was easier for everybody, certainly for us, but for the IRS just to get a professional accountings firm to submit everything for the band to them. And so there were never really any problems. There was never really anything we had to worry about, and we were fortunate that they just took care of everything, and we didn't have to worry about anything. We didn't have to pay any taxes or anything because that all happened through the corporation. So I imagine that's probably similar to how it works for most bands. So yeah, that's how we did it for years. But as time's passed, and now I'm just a dude, no longer in Khmer Inc. has dissolved since. I'm just an individual sole proprietor at this point, and the income that I get is what a lot of us in the entertainment industry call mailbox money, which is checks that just show up in the mailbox. You can't count on them. You have no idea how much they're going to be. They come at random times, and they're just almost like bonuses. And they, 1 month you could get a check from, I don't know, let's say whatever, Spotify or something like that, and it could be $600, and the next month it could be $6. So that's why you can never count on it. And again, it never shows up at the same time. So you can never say, oh, it's the 8th of the month, I should be expecting this. It just doesn't work that way. It's just totally random mailbox money. But from all those type of things, there's multiple sources, whether it's just royalties from all sorts of different things. But we get 1099 from those, which is just a system of reporting that then I have to report to the government when I do my taxes, again, as an individual sole proprietor, as I said, and it's just up to me to report that income. So yeah, that's how it works. Nothing really major. I, like you, do not look forward to taxes and preparing them or anything like that, but always feel good once they're done. All right, next, BLK Beretta, Black Beretta. Hey Rob, cool video and awesome stories. Thanks for sharing. What do you think makes a timeless sounding record? It's hard to believe some of the Khmer material is 15 plus years old, right? While each album is unique, I feel like each one could be released right now and wouldn't sound out of place. Do you think it's the production quality, the material, or just metal in general? So, I don't know. I mean, I think that obviously production has something to do with it. Most timeless records or great records sound fantastic. It's not often that somebody's like, oh man, that hit album that came out right now, it's got so many killer songs, but it sounds like shit. You just don't hear that. It's most records, to be great, also sound great. So it's just kind of hand in hand with that. But I think timeless records are different to everybody. Like there are certainly like deep collection albums that I love that maybe nobody else does, but to me they're timeless or whatever. But then there are those ones that we can all agree on. The Black Album, Appetite for Destruction, Rain and Blood, stuff like that, speaking just about metal, I think a lot of it is just right place, right time. But they all have to have the right set of ingredients. That production, energy, and then that right place, right time thing. For instance, like when Appetite for Destruction came out, I was too young to know exactly when it came out or to take it in. I mean, hearing Paradise City for the first time changed my life. Seeing that video for Paradise City then again changed my life. I was just telling my wife the other day that I've never even been to a stadium show. I want to so bad. And it was because as a kid I saw on Headbangers Ball or something the Paradise City video and was like, whoa, this rules. And look how it just looks like those guys are having so much fun. But anyways, it was probably a super hungry rock and roll community at that time, and it came out, Appetite came out, and those guys just had this attitude about them, and the songwriting was fantastic, and the playing was fantastic, and they were ready to go as a touring machine, and it was just boom, 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 boom. So, yeah, a timeless record, I think, is just the right set of ingredients, and there is no way to figure out what those ingredients are. It just has to happen, which is also what makes it special, I think, If there was a method to it, everybody would do it, and it'd be less special. Okay. Lacusta TV. Hey Rob, what do you think about bands whose first albums are subjectively heavier, which progress into more mainstream? Obviously, experimentation is inevitable, but bands get a lot of flack for it and don't seem to have the desire to return to their roots, so to speak. Do you think this is a good idea to regain lost loyalty? As always, keep kicking ass. Loke. Thanks, Loke. Well, I've got a theory. Some theories about both ends of that question there. The first is, a band having a heavy album and then going more mainstream. So here's what I think happens. And this isn't every band, but for a lot of bands, their initial offering, their first album is special, and it's what really garners recognition for the band and gets a lot of people interested in them, if it's great, right? So that can never be duplicated. The coming together of musicians to discovering each other's playing to writing songs together, and just that totally spontaneous, organic, beautiful, pure chemistry that happens when guys get together and make something great on their first record. There's just something about that, and when they hit gold and it's great, it's undeniable. But then what happens is, a lot of the time the band just then starts to overthink it, and they get too in their heads about where the success came from. And they think, well, this song got us on radio, so we need to, or it was more popular with radio, so we need to write more songs like this. And so just the shift in their direction changes. It's no longer pure and organic and just all unadulterated love for the music that they were creating together. Now there's a formula. Now they have to stick to something because they want to be as successful or more successful. They think they struck gold in this certain area and they're going to go for it. And so the sound just changes. That's not always the case, though. A lot of bands write monster records on their third, fourth record, stuff like that, because they figure it out in a different way, and it's a way that people want, you know? But answering your question about that, I think that sometimes bands lose sight or just alter their vision in a way that the fans feel betrayed by. Hey, this isn't what we signed up for originally. It just isn't as good because it's contrived in some way. So that's my theory about that. And then bands returning to their roots. My theory of that is that it's just impossible. It's impossible to go back to that spontaneity that I talked about on your first record and duplicate it, especially years later when so many things have changed, okay? So my example for that is Metallica. Saint Anger, when that came out, everybody's like, what is this? We just want more Ride the Lightning. That's what everybody wants with every Metallica record, right? You just want more of the heavy early stuff that you loved, all right? But they can't go back to that. Let's think about the Saint Anger era. Not only could they not be in the same room together, but they had billions of dollars, children, tons of toys and cars. We've all seen it all, you know, just what they have and everything. Where's their incentive to go back and Ride the Lightning or Kill 'Em All again? It isn't there. And not only is there no incentive, but when they wrote those records, they were just young and full of energy and just boozed up and pure power and love for what they were doing and ready to go on the road. And they had a magic back then that could only exist then. And so bands later on can't go back and ever recreate that. You can't go back and be 20 years old again and just be carefree again like you were. So that's why I think it happens. It's unfortunate. Now, like I said, there are exceptions, and bands write great albums later on in their career, or maybe some bands are successful at returning their roots, but I haven't heard of any. Let me know if you've heard of some in the comments, and change my mind about it. Also, I'd like to know, what do you guys think makes a timeless record? Back to that question from before. All right, Resington. Used to jam Clensation with my drummer bud back in '05. What a tune and album. Total 2000s classic. What are your favorite bands from the mid-2000s era? My favorite bands from the mid-2000s era. First one that comes to mind is Decapitated. I mentioned Vogue before. His riffs, solos, the songwriting, the chemistry that he and his late brother had together, rest in peace, just unbelievable. That Negation album, huge for me. Organic Hallucinosis, I think it's called. If you're not familiar with Decapitated, Polish death metal band, they were super young when they started. If you listen to their first record, Nihility, I think they were like 17, 18 at the time, and the stuff's just like way ahead of its time and groundbreaking. Killer death metal stuff. Decapitated, great band. Killswitch Engage comes to mind too. Alive or Just Breathing, that album, like I actually remember first hearing that and being like, whoa, because we were like, Camaro had just gotten signed to Roadrunner. We were making Pass Out of Existence and like felt on top of the world. And then I hear Alive or Just Breathing from Killswitch. Like, whoa, all right. This is some serious stuff here. We got to make sure we stay on top of our game as well. And then becoming great friends with those guys, doing a lot of touring with Killswitch, End of Heartache, super cool. So yeah, those guys killed it in the mid-2000s and are still doing great. Lamb of God, obviously, dude, when Ashes of the Wake came out, Sacrament, those records, just totally badass, and obviously they're still killing it too. Those guys are on top of the mountain right now, and I wish them continued success for sure. Hatebreed, Perseverance, dude, The Rise of Brutality, all that kind of stuff, and again, they're still killing it. And then Opeth, Ghost Reveries, Watershed, huge records. So again, all those bands really are still active and still killing it. So, but in the mid 2000s, I know they had just a big effect on metal and everything that was happening at that time. And I was fortunate enough to play lots of shows with lots of those bands. So it's cool to love music from your colleagues. Is that what I'd say? I don't know. All right, Big E. I've commented before on how unique your solos are. Unlike most guitarists, it feels like you write them with a purpose instead of trying to be flashy or just show off. What allowed you to approach them differently? Was there a particular artist that got you to write them from that perspective? First of all, thank you very much. I'd say that there are two things that come to mind about how and why I write my solos and stuff. In terms of not being like flashy and that they feel they have purpose. Again, thank you for that. One is that I can't play really flashy. I just never went that route growing up. I never learned to sweep. Still don't. Still can't. I never I appreciate guitarists like Yngwie Malmsteen and stuff like that, and hearing them once in a while, whatever. But I can never just jam it. I never listen to it in my car or anything like that. But when I see it or hear it, I'm like, wow, that's really impressive. But it's just not my forte. I never got into that. So, but what I did get into is guys like Slash. That November Rain, I mean, that bridge to outro section of November Rain. Come on, the soul, just is unbelievable in that. Those bends and just killer note choices and stuff. So I really gravitated towards that, and so I'm sure you hear that in my playing. That I just want to sing with my guitar over that. A couple other players, maybe like Angus Young or the Leonard Skinner guys. Just singing on Freebird. Stuff like that. A lot of classic rock. Really had an effect on me there. And then even with metal, even a guy like Andreas Kisser from Sepultura, I'm sure he could shred if he wants to, but still he had a way where he sung awesome melodies and cool things over great Sepultura songs that just spoke to me in a way like he was singing with his guitar. So I just gravitated towards that style, and obviously it comes across in my playing. And again, thanks for noticing. Thanks for appreciating it. I appreciate it. Ryan Patterson says, hey Rob, if you had to choose two of your favorite solos to play, what would they be? One from the Chimera catalog and just one your favorite in general. Personally, I love the solo from Save Ourselves. Keep up the good work. Greetings from Tasmania. Tasmania. Awesome. Let's check that out. Curious where that is. Obviously, I know it has something to do with Australia. Tasmania. Okay. Island off the southeast coast of Australia. Pretty big there. Where in Tasmania are you from? So cool. Never been there. Been all over here though. Oh, New Zealand. Yeah, been there. We've only been to Auckland a couple times. Never traveled down here. Australia, obviously Melbourne, Adelaide, Sydney we played a bunch of times, Brisbane, Perth somewhere over here. Yeah. Love playing Australia. Cool stuff, but never been to Tasmania. Sweet, man. Wonder what it's like there. I'll have to do some research. So, love that you love the Save Ourselves solo. Love that one. I love a lot of the self-titled solos, but my favorite to play, maybe like Everything You Love. As a matter of fact, Bloodlust. Haven't played the Bloodlust solo in a really, really long time. I should revisit that. We tend to play Everything You Love live a little bit more. And just as a matter of fact, the other day somebody linked me to a cool Everything You Love performance, which I shall link for you. And hopefully you can hear how I love playing that solo in this video. And then my favorite solo to play of somebody else, definitely To Live Is to Die. And it was one of the first videos I ever made here on YouTube back in the day for the EMG Metallica Challenge, where EMG Pickups was hosting this thing where you had to cover a Metallica song, and you can only do 3 minutes. It couldn't be any more, any less. So I chose a section from To Live Is to Die, and that To Live Is to Die solo is one of the first ones I ever learned to play, too. So it's like another one of those ones I consider attainable. Like, you could work on it, you could do it. There's nothing too crazy in it, but it's got a ton of great techniques in it that taught me a lot and definitely helped develop my style. I will link that video up here as well, too, for you. All right. GRM full. Grimful? I don't know. Nice video. I already wait part 2. I'll bet he's talking about my recent Implements of Destruction acoustic intro playthrough video. And part 2 is on the way, or maybe it's already out, depending on when you're watching this video. So stay tuned, or if it's available, I'm going to link it right here. Your guitar tone on this track is one of my favorites. Could you make a video to show how you dial your amp for the Impossibility of Reason album, please? Yes, I will. I have decided. I've gotten enough requests for my amp sound or dialing in the 5150/6505 and the Impossibility of Reason guitar tone, where I've decided it's going to be the next video I work on. So hopefully enough of you guys are into that and are into how I dial in my tone there, how we dialed in the tone. I'm just going to kind of set up an amp from scratch and just dial it in as if I was doing it for the first time, and we'll compare it and do some cool stuff. So you can look forward to that. I'm looking forward to it, and like I said, I'm going to get to work on it right away. So without any further ado, I'm going to cut this off and get to work. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up for me. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Check me out on the socials, and take a look at my Patreon campaign if you haven't already. And thank you so much to everybody that's already involved with that. You guys make the world go round for me. Cheers, guys. Thanks so much. I'll see you on the next video. Whatever it is, amps, everything you love 12, something else, we'll see. Thanks, guys. Hey, Rob Arnold here, and thanks so much for watching. I hope you'll stick around and explore some of the other videos on my channel where you can see me do things like play some more guitar, or maybe you'd find some of my guitar maintenance tutorials useful, where you can see how to keep your instrument in top shape, tuned up, and ready to go. You can also check out some of the musical projects I've been working on over the past few years, and join me on my Everything You Love conversational show, where I tell all from my storied career touring the world with my band Chimera, interviewing and chatting with friends and guests, playing riffs, and so much more. Finally, if you'd like to support me in the show, you could do so at my Patreon page, patreon.com/RobArnoldWorld, where right now I'm focusing on creating a ton of awesome guitar content exclusive only to my patrons, where you can watch me play some of my favorite riffs, sit in on some guitar lessons where I teach Chimera riffs and some of the best riffs that help develop my style over time. So check that out. Thanks so much, and I'll see y'all on the next video.